Let me give you a really high-level rundown how I would do this, what I would tell myself 25 years ago. 80% of the stuff that you're doing in the studio is probably a waste of time. Now, I know that may sound super harsh, and I'm going to explain what I mean by this. I've been in music now for about 25 years, and I gotta be honest with you, the first 5-6 years of that were pure misery. I would spend forever agonizing over my mixes. Then when the mix was reasonable, I would spend the same amount of time agonizing on mastering. And in the end, getting tracks to really sound right was really hard. But looking back now, a lot of the tracks that I worked on for months and months and months were not really worth me having worked on so long. And some of the most special tracks often came together in a really short amount of time. So what do I mean with this? Don't spend too much time on the stuff that doesn't matter, on the stuff that doesn't progress your tracks forward. The main things for a good track, the thing that people really listen for, is the feeling, the idea, and what it moves them towards or what it feels like for them. So especially in dance music, it's not so much about, the story maybe of, how whatever, our dog died, wife left, these kinds of things that are more typical in pop songs, but it's about an emotion that you get when you're listening to the song, when you're dancing, when you're moving. And this is very much something that is found in the harmonic structure, the rhythms, the break, the build up and the drop. And if you spend your focus and your time on making sure that those aspects, the really memorable aspects of your track, are amazing and maybe even original or just really cool and different, like, sometimes you hear a melody and immediately it's like, this is special. If that's what you focus most of your time on, you're gonna make a big impact where it really matters. Now, where it doesn't matter, and this is a by no means fully extensive list, but it's a long one, and just so that you don't get the feeling that this is like a holier than thou video, I spent many years in all of these time traps, and to this day I still waste time on them sometimes. These are the worst sort of offenses that you can do for yourself in the studio and actually not be making better parts in your tracks where it matters. One, education. Spending a ton of time researching a topic on, yes, YouTube or, some forum, some tutorial. I definitely include gear in this, like researching gear, researching plugins, thinking about the next best way to do this, or learning about some, famous engineer's process from back in the 90s. It's all very cool and good. But basically, anytime you're not sitting behind the keys or the mouse of your studio and writing really cool chord structures and progressions is wasted time, considering the impact that it will have on your audience. Now, of course, it's important to have your basics down and to understand, the essence of how your DAW works, how mixing works, how mastering works, how sound selection and sound design works. But spending a lot of time doing that on YouTube and other similar, forums and stuff, it's not worth the time you invest for the little learnings that you do. Now, there are some exceptions. There are really good YouTube channels around, like Underdog, I think, is super good. Oscar, really cool guy. I hope our channel belongs to this category. Alice F, she does really cool stuff. Like, there's a couple of exceptions. Many times the stuff that you'll get on YouTube is some rechewed something someone else watched and is now, talking about it in order to make some content that week. So be careful of the trap of consuming a lot of media, thinking you're educating yourself to become a better musician, because the best way to become a better musician is to actually make music, is to spend time writing the stuff that really moves the needle. I don't want to sound like I'm against education, but rather than buying plugins and researching into plugins, and I know it's Black Friday week now, please take that money and invest it into doing either like a school with someone like Signy or PML. Actually, no, PML doesn't have a school, but they have classes from famous artists that are really good and on point. Like Ben Böhmer has a class there. We're going to be launching a class, educational program in the new year. So there's a lot of different places where you can get condensed information of a high quality, and please invest your money in this and not in plugins and additional pieces of gear thinking that's going to make the difference. difference. If you learn cool stuff for workflow and for composing better music, it's going to make a much bigger impact than the 99th plugin that you're going to get to test out in your session. This is the other big pitfall that you can spend a lot of time wasted on, is buying plugins, buying, you know, additional gear, researching it, then selling it when it doesn't turn out to do what you really need it to do, or when it's just a disappointment. And honestly, like, I must have probably 500-600 plugins installed on this machine. I get sent a lot of stuff from the companies that we work with. I used to work in the industry, so they would anyway give me stuff. But to be really honest, I use about, maybe it's 10, let's say 15 third-party plugins across all of my work. That's it. I will list what those are, so if you want to check those out, then I think those are the ones that are really special and hard to do with the stock plugins of your DAW. If you have like Ableton Suite or, you know, Bitwig Studio, one of the full versions of a DAW, you almost don't need anything else. There's a couple of exceptions, and I will definitely mention them, but rather than investing your money and time researching new plugins, etc., spend that time doing some sort of a training with some sort of an academy or musician you like. You will make a huge jump in your music production. It's 10 times better than investing it in plugins and fiddling around with knobs and a screen. Believe me, I've been down that road, and I so regret now actually that I invested so much time and money into that. Also the outboard gear, the hardware gear. I mean, I use it with Rapid Flow for creating sample packs and instruments, but you don't need half as much as your brain is telling you, where maybe you also, I have get this imposter syndrome of, oh, I need to get more gear so that I can, you know, achieve something that's very unique, and then, you know, I won't have to doubt my music production anymore. It's total bullshit. Write a chord progression that gives you the chills and put a melody over it, and all that goes away. I promise you. And finding those chord progressions and sitting in front of the computer writing those melodies, that's the thing that will really make you a better musician. Speaking of them, let me tell you what are the third-party plugins that I think are amazing. Then let's conclude this video so I don't take too much of your time where you could be writing music. Eventide Black Hole. I've tested the newer, more expensive immersive version. The old version is super cool. It works just fine for synths. Amazing, huge reverb. I'll actually put an affiliate link in the description that has all this stuff already listed on Toban, so if you want to support the channel, thank you. There's another Eventide Reverb Ultraverb, which has incredible room and algos, which are perfect for hi-hats and snares. If you know how hard it is to get those right in electronic music, that's the solution. Thank you, Mr. Frank Wiedemann, for sharing this with me. Kush Clariphonic, amazing, some sort of weird magical parallel EQ that just makes your track sound open and just like feel upfront without them sounding EQ'd. I don't know anything else that can do that, so yes, Kush Clariphonic. Then there is Valhalla Delay and the Valhalla Reverb, which I think are super cool, and I mostly use the Valhalla Delay, but the reverbs also are quite good, although I think I would say the Valhalla Delay is on my list of things I'd have to have. There's a Waves H Delay. It's just super good. I know Waves is a bit of a burnt topic, but it's a really, really great delay. I use that a lot also. Limiters, I just use the stock plugins. Clippers, there's like Clip, all these $20 clippers, totally fine. You can even build your own clipper in Ableton, which we've done in all our templates. So Weiss de-esser from Softube. It's the best de-esser I know. It's just works so beautifully. You can de-ess hi-hats and crashes and stuff with it, but for vocals, it's just incredible. Yeah, it does something that's just perfect. So Empirical Labs, Big Freak, and basically their own in-house distressor emulation. For Mojo, these plugins are sick. They're on my master bus. They make everything I do sound 20% better, and I'm not exaggerating, maybe even more than that. You just drop those on your master bus and everything sounds incredible. It has the vibe, it has the mojo. I know the Empirical Labs plugins are expensive, but they're really worth it. Adapter AB from Plugin Alliance, must-have plugin to reference your tracks and be able to see everything properly and know what you're doing, and if your track is squashed or if your frequency. Julian loudness meter, free, super good because it's a bit more accurate. I personally use the Flux Analyzer a ton. It's just really useful to have a visual representation of what's going on with your loudness and your music and your frequency distribution in a way that's a bit more detailed. Yeah, it's always good to have an LA2A and an 1176 clone. They're just like some sort of a plugin. Waves does it. It's part of their Mercury bundle, I think. But yeah, like there's also really good deals right now from Universal Audio on their stuff. Absolutely worth it, because with the combination of those two dynamics processors, you can control any signal. You can make a vocal super upfront and loud. They're kind of like the wrench and hammer of a studio. If you have those compressors, it's a nice addition to have. They have a bit more vibe and mojo than the standard stock compressors. Am I forgetting any plugins? And then of course instruments. Microtonic. Irreplaceable. If you look at people's masterclasses and YouTube videos, it's used by a ton of people for hi-hats, loops and snares. Especially for hi-hats, it's unbeatable. Like, just look, like Keine Musik, Botzin, all these people use it for a reason. I know it's expensive, it's like $100. It's magical. For techno and electronic music, progressive house, melodic techno hi-hats, it's the thing. Definitely, it's in my session also. And then, yeah, something like Serum or Diva, or Zensphere, which we just released. They're kind of different beasts. Serum and Diva are definitely wider, they can do more, but they sound more, especially in the case of Serum, more digital, perfect, kind of just like, you know, in your face. What you tweak is what you get, just like blasting you, but I wouldn't say they have a ton of mojo. Diva a little bit more than Serum. And yeah, this is where Zensphere, our own in-house synth, excels. It's just like oozing with mojo because it's like the sound of analog hardware put in a synth. Actually, if I had those three, which I do, then I'm set. Like literally, I don't actually switch on the synths in my studio much anymore since getting Zensphere finished. I mean, just to play for fun, to use the ARPs and stuff, and that's it. Literally out of hundreds of plugins that I've invested weeks testing and stuff, those are the ones that stuck, that are sticking around and I'm still using. So maybe to close this off, once you get a good kick drum sound dialed in and a good bass against it, templatize that shit, man. Don't go back in your next track and start from zero again. Like, let me give you a really high level rundown how I would do this, what I would tell myself 25 years ago. Put a mastering chain on your master. In my case, that would be like 2 limiters to get it loud and the Empirical Labs EQ and compressor for the vibe and mojo. That's it, sorted. Put your kick up against your reference track in adapter AB and get it so it feels at the same loudness as your reference and the same frequency content. Put your bass up against that. Again, get it so that it sounds like your reference track. And now build your track from there. And once you've built your first track in that, hopefully in session view, you can use that for any further track and you'll never have to guess. Your kick level, your bass level, your snare, all that stuff will pretty much always be the same. If it sounds close to your references, then hey, there you go. That's more time of you spent writing chords, progressions, melodies, harmonies, tweaking vocals, coming up with super cool found sound samples, looking for really weird loops on YouTube or some sample library, like all the stuff that can make a song super catchy. Don't waste too much time on your mix. Don't waste too much time on your master. Don't obsess over these tiny little details that no normal listener will hear, and then write music. Focus your time on that. That would be my biggest recommendation. And if you feel a bit lost with this, like you don't really know where to go, I mean, I don't want to make this video about us because it's, you know, it's a broader topic than that. But of course, this is what we do at Rapid Flow. We've built proven templates now used by thousands of producers. They're workflow templates. They're not ready to go tracks. They're workflow templates, so you can make anything you want with them. And my recommendation to you would be to get the Infinity Bundle that works on Ableton, Bitwig, FL Studio, and Logic. It includes the mastering chain. It includes a live performance workflow. It includes a sequencing and looping workflow, even a referencing workflow if you don't have adapter AB. And that one actually only uses stock plugins. So you just open it, and if you have one of those DAWs, that's it, you're in. And if you want to go to the next step, this is only Ableton because that's what I use, the Erik Heirman Ableton Live template that uses more advanced mastering with third-party plugins. It uses more controllers. It gives you more control. It includes Microtonic and all these other plugins that I mentioned before. They're all already in there, all set to what I think is a really, really good starting point. Considering the investment, that's something everyone's going to have to decide for themselves if it's worth it or not. If your track idea is incredible, no one is going to give a shit about the 10% production quality that may or may not be there. Think about your musical idea. Once you get good sounds going, standardize that so that you don't have to spend any more time in that stuff. And if you struggle with your acoustics in the studio, like, you know, if you don't have a large enough room or good treatment, get Slate VSX. I'm sure it's also on sale this week. It works perfectly. It translates better than anything I've heard in 25 years in the music industry. Get a couple of controllers. I would highly recommend the APC40 Mark II, the Minimix. Get a good quality display so you don't end up wearing glasses like me because I was using shitty TFT displays and small laptops when I started out. I hope that this has been helpful, and yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. And yeah, check out our academy, which is going to start in January. It's going to be called the Flow Collective. The cool thing is that for for the first iteration of it. Everything's going to be live because, you know, it's going to be me on Zoom teaching, and we're going to record all that for later iterations where it's going to be canned. So people are going to be able to watch it, you know, on some platform. But the first iteration of this is going to be 100% live in front of Zoom, sessions where I share my learnings, but also sessions where you can ask questions. And during Black Friday weekend, we're going to have a special launch deal for this where you can lock in a lower price for the entire time that you may be in the Flow Collective. So check that out. It's going to be on our newsletter. We're going to do a YouTube video on it, I'm sure, but I'm going to leave this with you here because I think I've given you a lot of food for thought. Don't waste too much time checking out the plugins and stuff. Go to your studio, write music. All right, take it easy. See you later. Bye-bye.